1,000 years ago, terrifying beasts from the Black Abyss appeared in the world. However, the monuments also appeared around the same time, providing hope for humanity. With the arrival of the monuments, humans are granted powers to help them fight against the strange and terrifying beasts that have invaded their lands. After several level-ups, humanity finally chased the beasts back into the abyss and gained control of their territory. Moving forward from this, China set its provincial capital city at the location of the 9 monuments. Every single year, an awakening ceremony takes place where the defenders of humanity are selected among the high school students. On the 53rd awakening ceremony in Lintian City of the Monument Branch, the tutor reveals that the scary beasts are still active within the abyss. He lets the students know that their powers are needed if they are to completely defeat the beasts. With a passionate scream, he tells them that the monument will randomly assign them a class, which is going to be based on their talents. He assures them that it doesn't make a difference whether they get a combat class or a life class, as long as they are contributing to the growth of the nation. The students are already hyped to be participating in the ceremony since they have been studying for the past 18 years. One wants to join the union where they will receive huge pay without doing anything worthwhile. Another student tells him that it is not easy to obtain the warrior class because the percentage of acquiring a combat class in the school is only 50%. While they are all celebrating, they notice that our trash MC, Lin Tianhao, is busy sleeping. Apparently, Lin is the worst student in the school and they mock him, saying that acquiring a good class is the only thing that will change his useless fate. Lin is the poorest student in his class as he is the last in the rankings. While they are busy making fun of him, Lin is thinking about how he made it to the awakening ceremony and what class he will get. A bald-headed dude walks up to Lin asking him what class he hopes to get. In sincerity, Lin reveals that he would like to acquire an S-level talent of a hidden class. The dude immediately passes this along to the others so that they can all make fun of Lin for dreaming too high. One of them urges Lin to stop dreaming because it will be hard for him to get a life class, let alone a combat class. Apparently, if they are going by the ratings, Lin is truly trash. However, Lin believes in a miracle as he expects that he might have a turnaround just like the mighty Phoenix. It turns out that he somewhat transmigrated into this world, and he believes that another miracle might come into play to help him get a good class. The tutor soon calls Lin and his classmates to come to the stage for the ceremony.
A huge dude, Wang Dong, walks up to the stage to get his class, and he is confident that he will get a good class. The teacher lets him know that it takes no more than 5 seconds to acquire a class once they touch the monument. She lets Wang know that it is normal for him to feel a bit unwell during the whole process. Wang Dong touches the big stone, and it immediately radiates bright golden light, which is called the Holy Light. With this, Wang's awakening becomes successful, and he is granted the warrior class.
Wang makes a fist bump for getting a good class, and in addition to this, his talent is rated C. The teacher tells Wang Dong that C-level talent is considered to be one of the best among ordinary people. Wang is told to go to the Union Center, where he will find someone to teach him about his class. The girls are already flustered with Wang Dong acquiring such a cool class, as they urge him to take them with him when he goes into the dungeon. They all want to be around Wang Dong since he awakened a warrior job, which provides stable pay. Wang Dong walks back to the students, proudly holding his hand in the air. He shoulder bumps Lin and uses the opportunity to talk trash to him. Apparently, Lin has always been bullied by Wang Dong, and now that he has awakened a warrior class, Lin knows that he is totally done for. Dong's supporters waste no time blaming Lin for bumping into Dong. They plan to teach him a lesson, but Wang Dong tells them to let it go, since he is in a good mood. Lin wonders what class he would get since the monument was able to give a bully the warrior class. Just as he is wondering what class he is going to get, his ops are also wondering the same thing. Lin is soon called to the stage, while all eyes are on him. Lin reaches the monument and prays that he awakens any class, even if it is a trash class. With fear in his mind, Lin touches the stone, and this generates the bright golden light. However, this time around, it is brighter than before. This shocks him and everyone present at the ceremony. Lin wonders if his life is finally going to get the good turnaround that he has been praying for. When the light finally dissipates and everything calms down, the teacher checks his class, and Lin is disappointed when he realizes that he awakened as a summoner. His ops immediately burst into laughter because the summoner class is considered the most useless class of all classes. Apparently, the summoner class is a combat class, but the training is quite expensive, and the result of this is always average. They cannot hold back their laugh as they make fun of Lin for obtaining a class that is worse than even a life class. Suddenly, a system appears in front of him, telling him that he can get access to an SSS-level talent if he binds himself to the Abyss Lord. Lin takes the offer, and this activates the system, which will give him 1 SSS-level talent every 10 levels. This basically tells him that he will be open to having 10 SSS-level talents at level 100. His talent is extracted, and he realizes that he has been given the talent, Demon Sacrifice. This is a talent that allows him to demonize his summons with spirit power straight from hell. To make it more interesting, the demonized summons can still gain experience points and level up through battle. However, this sacrifices his HP's upper limit to directly level up a summon and demonize it. Lin realizes that with this power, he doesn't need to fight as long as his summons are strong enough to do the fighting for him. He knows that he can easily increase his HP upper limit through equipment in the future. He learns that every 100 HP sacrificed will increase the summon by 1 level. Since his current HP points are 1000, he plans to sacrifice 900 and save 100 points for himself at least. This basically tells him that he can level up his summons right up to level 9 from the very start. Even though the talent looks broken, Lin believes that he needs to be cautious when using it. He is lost in thought when the teacher walks up to him, telling him not to be discouraged since there are other options for him, even though his class is useless. Lin thanks the teacher for her encouragement, with Lin speaking with the confidence of someone who plans to make a difference in the world. The teacher thinks he has good intentions, but the other students just make fun of him, telling him to go back home and think about his life. Lin walks among the mockers, making the determination that he is going to become a great summoner who makes a difference. Lin returns home to his eager sister, who is ready to know what class Lin obtained. Lin reveals that he got the summoner class, leaving his sister in shock, since she also knows that the class is a trash class. Lin's sister encourages him and urges him not to think about it since she is going to have her own awakening the next year. She believes that she will awaken a mage class so as to protect his loser brother. Lin shoves her to the side, telling her that he is a strong summoner who doesn't need anyone to protect him. His sister screams at him for bullying her and always treating her like a kid. Just then, Lin gets a notification on his phone, telling him that the students who obtained classes should gather in class. Since he doesn't know what this is all about, he decides to leave it for later. Shortly afterward, Lin and the other awakeners gather in the classroom where they are addressed by their teacher. He reveals that 5 people got the combat class, 8 people got the mage class, 11 people became supports, and 1 person became a summoner. Wang Dong doesn't waste time pointing to Lin and calling his summoning class a pretty useless one. Dong's friend agrees with him, saying obtaining such a class basically means the person's life is over. Since Lin's case is special, the teacher has an introductory book about summoners for him. Lin walks up to the front to collect the book, and the teacher lets him know that he is free to talk to him anytime if he encounters any problem. While collecting the book, Lin notices that the dust on the book is a lot, meaning no one ever reads it because the summoner class is trash. The teacher then informs them that they have been gathered because the school wants to collect specific data on students who have gotten a class. The teacher urges his students to behave themselves because the other classes will be present at the test. Momentarily, the students move out to the test site. An overzealous student is the first to step up and display his power as a mage. His power is quite amazing, and this earns him 73 points. Wang Dong also displays his warrior powers by slashing the ground, leaving a bright light. His amazing display of power earns him 89 points. The teachers commend him, assuring him that he is going to be first in the class with the score he just acquired. In no time, Lin is called forward to show his skills. He had learned some basic summoning techniques from the book he got from the teacher, but he hadn't tried any of them yet. However, he is prepared to give it his all to make sure he doesn't fumble in front of his classmates and teachers. He opens his summoning book and chants some words. This immediately causes a powerful wind to hit the entire area, leaving everyone shocked. They are all curious to see the powerful creature that Lin is about to summon with his tremendous power. When the smoke clears, everyone, including Lin, is shocked to see that he summoned a slime. This creates another round of laughter for the students, who cannot believe that after all the drama that Lin just performed, all he could summon was a slime. They start dissing him, telling him that slimes are basically useless against monsters because they are definitely going to get torn apart. Lin himself is disappointed as he cannot believe that he just summoned the least expected thing. The slime is at level 1, and the attack power is 9. For skills, the slime possesses corrosive slime and slime spit, but it has no summon equipment. Lin compares the slime's attack power to a tickle because of how low it is. He is still worried about this when the teacher calls everyone's attention to his score. They are all expecting great things, but they are disappointed yet again as they see 9 points on the board. The teacher tries to lift Lin's spirit by telling him that 9 points are better than nothing. However, Lin asks the teacher if he can retry the entire process. The teacher doesn't see anything wrong with this, and he tells Lin to go ahead. Lin then taps into his SSS-level talent, the Demon Sacrifice. The system tells him that the summoned creature will be permanently enchanted if he goes ahead to use the Demon Sacrifice on it. Lin accepts the conditions and proceeds with 200 points. Behind him, Wang Dong is already trash-talking him, telling him that he is only wasting his time trying the process again. Lin ignores the haters and sacrifices 200 HP points. Suddenly, a red, sinister aura emerges and merges with the slime. This creates a shocking transformation that leaves everyone picking their jaws from the floor. Lin's eyes light up in disbelief when he sees the appearance of the demonized slime and the attributes that come with it. The slime's HP has increased to 1,200 from 500. The attack power has jumped from 9 to 120. In addition to its previous 2 skills, it has acquired the demonic dance too. To see what the slime can do, Lin gives it an attack order, and it charges into the distance, leaving a loud explosion in its wake. With the slime's action, the points board starts to read again. Surprisingly, the board moves from 9 points to 120, shocking the teachers and students. They refuse to believe the fact that the least expected person just pulled out 120 points. Wang Dong's supporters start losing their minds since Lin has more points than their apparent god. Even Wang Dong cannot believe his eyes since the person who had the highest score only had 101. Wang Dong immediately raises a concern, reminding everyone that Lin did the test twice, and there is the possibility that he has tampered with the machine. The other students immediately join the motion, claiming that Lin cheated the second time. They call the teacher to attention, telling him that Lin initially got 9 points and there is no way it suddenly jumped to 120 points. Deep down, Lin knows he tampered with something, but it wasn't the machine. He only used his acquired talent on his summon, the slime. In no time, the teacher starts to agree with the kids, telling Lin that they are actually right with what they are saying. Lin argues with the teacher, telling him that he didn't cheat. The teacher then walks up to the machine and after a closer look and deep thinking, he turns to the students, telling them that Lin didn't cheat. However, he claims that the machine malfunctioned. Wang hears this and heaves a sigh of relief because he can never believe that trash like Lin would have better points than him. Wang then asks the teacher what they are supposed to do with Lin's points. The other students are already mounting the pressure, telling the teacher that the point system showed 9. The teacher then tells Lin that he would have to take the test another time since the machine malfunctioned. Lin is shocked to see that the teacher is actually giving him another chance. The students start to protest against this decision, but the teacher maintains his stand, telling them that it is final. The teacher then tells the students who have not been tested, including Lin, to wait behind while the machine is being repaired. Wang approaches Lin with a serious and scary stare, telling him that he can't escape being trash even if he undergoes the test 1,000,000 times. Wang then tells his guys that it is time for them to head to the first level of the Black Abyss. Lin hears this, and it occurs to him that the first level of the Black Abyss is a rookie dungeon. Since they are all heading to the Black Abyss, Lin thinks it is going to be a good idea for him to try out his demon slime. Later on, specialists show up to check out the machine, and with the level of damage done to the machine, they conclude that the school has somewhat managed to produce another genius. Suddenly, Lin runs into an old man who commends him for being a summoner. Lin is totally confused by the unknown old man and just decides to go with the flow. The old man then brings out a short stick and claims that it is a top-tier summoner staff. He lets Lin know that he is willing to sell it to him for 300 gold coins. Lin is shocked to hear this since the only thing he sees is a short stick in front of him. He berates the old man for trying to play on his intelligence. The old man then tells Lin that he is only selling the supposed staff to him because there is a connection between them. He claims he wouldn't have thought about it if it were someone else. Lin grabs the stick and realizes that there is power flowing through it, and this shocks him. Since there is no information on summoners or where he can buy equipment related to summoning, he decides to buy the short stick. Lin checks everything he has, and it amounts to 92 gold coins. He sincerely asks the old man if he will be willing to sell the staff to him at a discount. The old man tells Lin that he is ready to take 92 gold coins from him as a deposit. Lin is confused when he hears this, and the man explains further, telling him that the deposit will prevent him from selling the staff to other people. However, he is willing to give him the staff if he is going to go to the deepest part of the first-level Black Abyss maze and bring him a treasure. Lin screams in pain, asking the old man if it is already too late for him to take back his words. To him, he has just received a side character's mission. Lin learns that he is going to know what he is looking for when he reaches the deepest part of the maze. The old man then grabs him, telling him to put his handprint on the agreement sheet. Even Lin is surprised, as he doesn't know why the old man is desperate to force him to buy the staff. After collecting his fingerprint, the old man tells Lin that he is free to leave, but urges him not to forget the agreement. He is saying this with all enthusiasm, while Lin is straight up confused. After Lin is gone, Lin's teacher shows up, asking the old man, whom he refers to as Elder Fang, why he is at the testing center. The teacher lets Fang know that he is free to go back, as there is nothing special to report since the testing machine broke down. Fang then asks the teacher if he knows Lin. The teacher confirms that he knows who Lin is, since he is in his class. The teacher reveals that Lin got the summoner class, and because of this, he believes that he is going to have a difficult future. Fang agrees with the teacher, telling him that Lin's path is going to be a difficult one. Momentarily, Lin arrives at the entrance of the Black Abyss dungeon. Apparently, the first level of the Black Abyss is also known as the Cold Valley Abyss, and it usually requires at least 3 to 5 people to enter. The required entry levels are 1 to 10. Anyone beyond that will be sent packing by the supervisor. Since the minimum number of team members is 3, Lin realizes that he actually cannot go in alone. He opens the notification on the screen and learns that there are rewards waiting for whoever comes first at the end of the month when it comes to dealing with the Abyss. For the old rankings, he saw Fang Changyun's name there, and he was given a newbie breastplate, which packs some really interesting perks. Because of the rewards promised, Lin concludes that he needs to fight his way to the top so he can get the first-person position. Lin's classmates soon notice that he is present at the entrance. They are shocked to see that a trash person like Lin is trying to take on the dungeon. Lin's mood immediately tanks when he realizes that he has to deal with the bullies yet again. Wang Dong urges Lin to go home because he has no business being at the Abyss since he is just a summoner. Lin angrily tells his mockers that they should mind their business. Zhou Dashan then reminds Lin that he should stop being arrogant because he needs to form a team to enter the Abyss. Wang Dong raises his hand, asking if there is anyone who would like to join his team. In no time, the other students start rushing to him, asking him to pick them as a member of his team. Wang Dong acts like their messiah, and he ends up picking 2 dudes out of the multiple, who are rushing to join him. Once the team number is up to 5, Wang's team members learn about his ambition to compete for first place. Just as they are about to enter the portal shoots out human skeletons, creating fear in the team. The team members realize that they are a step away from becoming monster food. However, Wang is able to create a level of motivation in his team members as they step into the Abyss Gate. Lin figures out that Wang and his original 2 team members will most likely eliminate the 2 rookies among them. Momentarily, Lin walks up to a lady, a bard, which is also considered a weak class. She is Li Shui, and Lin can see that she has been stuck with no team for quite some time. Surprisingly, Lin asks her if she would like to be part of his team. Li Shui is shocked that an S-level talent is approaching her with an offer. Lin smiles, telling her that he has intentions of competing for the rankings, but no one would like to team up with him. In her mind, she believes that this is going to be impossible for Lin to achieve, but at the same time, she doesn't want to miss the opportunity to team up with such a cute guy. Because of this, she accepts Lin's offer, and they shake hands on it. Lin tells Li Shui that he will be in charge of taking out the monsters once they enter the dungeon, and all he needs is for her to protect herself. Li Shui is completely flustered when she hears this, and she assures Lin that she will definitely do as told. Lin is glad to hear this, since all they need is just one more person. Suddenly, the students' attention moves to the latest arrival of the school idol, Su Qing. The boys waste no time pitching their teams to her. They want her to join them so that they can protect her. In her mind, Su Qing is irritated as she considers all of them as trash piles. Even Lin is surprised that the school beauty is on the scene. Suddenly, Lin sees her walking toward him. In Su Qing's mind, she plans to use Lin for her personal gain. Since he is considered to be trash, Su Qing already knows what push it will bring if she teams up with him. Su Qing then acts all nice, requesting to join Lin's team. The moment the boys hear this, they lose their minds. Even Lin is shocked as he is forced to ask Su Qing again. Su Qing assures him that she didn't make a mistake, and she even holds hands with him. This generates more hate from the men who start to question why Su Qing would go for a trash person like Lin. Lin can feel their hateful gaze toward him, but wonders why he is the one getting the blame when Su Qing was the one who approached him. One of the guys oversteps his boundaries with Su Qing, and with a harsh tone, she tells him to get lost. Without wasting any more time, Su Qing tells her team members that it is time for them to go to the Abyss. Before they enter the Abyss, Lin asks her why she decided to join the team. Su Qing arrogantly replies that she is competing for the top ranking, and because of this, she needs a bunch of losers with her. She is confident that she will be the talk of the town if she is able to lead the 2 worthless pieces of trash to the first position. Lin and Li Shui cannot believe that they have just been dubbed useless and trash. It suddenly dawns on Lin that he has found himself in a team with 2 women. Li Shui is shocked that they are already entering the dungeon when they are just 3, and Su Qing reveals that they have no suitable person to join them. The trio then steps into the portal to find themselves inside the Cold Valley Abyss. The trio admits that the dungeon is extremely cold. Even the warm clothes that Lin brought have no effect in the extreme weather. Li Shui then mentions that she knows a low-level cold-resistant buff that might help them. She plays her instrument to activate the spell, and it releases a warm aura on her and her team members. Su Qing smiles at this as she commends Li Shui for being useful. Lin then walks ahead, suggesting that they get a move on since they're aiming to reach the first position. Suddenly, they come across a beast with red eyes, which turns out to be a wandering wolf. The beast is rated a normal grade monster with an attack power of 21. Su Qing steps forward, telling her teammates that the wolf is a low-level monster, and she is glad that the monster came at just the right time for her to practice. A blue aura swirls around her body as she transforms, gaining claws and teeth in the process. Su Qing completes her transformation into her beast form, the civet cat. She looks terrifying, and Lin finally gets to see the ability of the druid class in action. Without holding back, Su Qing leaps toward the wolf, ready to tear it to pieces. Su Qing slashes the wolf multiple times, depleting its HP in the process, and Lin figures out that Su Qing's attacks have a bleeding effect. Li Shui is impressed by Su Qing's display and how she elegantly took out the wolf without stress. For defeating the wolf, Su Qing gets the wolf skin, which is worth 20 gold coins per set, and wolf fangs, which is worth 10 gold coins per set. Su Qing then tells Li Shui that she will be giving her the items as an appreciation gift for the cold resistance buff she cast on them. Li Shui smiles, assuring Su Qing that there is no need for this. With this, the team continues their journey through the abyss. Momentarily, they come across a new set of wolves. Just like before, Su Qing rushes in head-on. She slashes the wolves all at once, taking them down. However, this takes a bit of a toll on her. She knows it is straining to take on a bunch of wolves at once, but at the same time, she doesn't want to lose the first position. Li Shui immediately notices that Su Qing's arm is cut, and she asks her if she is fine because she can help with a low-level HP recovery spell. Su Qing rudely tells her that low-level skills won't help that much, and she urges her to save her mana. Su Qing reaches into her inventory and whips out a healing potion that she consumes to restore herself back to the optimal state. The journey continues, but suddenly Su Qing steps into a magic circle before realizing it. She gets thrown to the ground by the resulting explosion. When the dust clears, they realize that they have managed to cross paths with a terrifying beast, the corrupted zombie. Even Su Qing is forced to admit that things have gone sideways since they have suddenly come across a scary zombie. Li Shui mentions that the zombie is an elite monster, and it has no business showing up in the dungeon. Lin suggests that Su Qing might have killed too many wandering wolves, which caught the attention of the zombie. Suddenly, the zombie dashes towards Su Qing and smashes her with its weapon. Su Qing fails to react because of the zombie's immense speed, and she gets thrown backwards like she is nothing. Su Qing hits the ground, shattering the ground on impact, but this leaves her totally out of commission. The zombie walks toward her, aiming to finish her off while Li Shui screams at Lin, telling him that they need to help Su Qing out. Just as the zombie is about to finish Su Qing off with its big mallet, Lin summons his demon slime. The slime appears immediately, and Lin orders it to use the demonic dance skill. The slime takes the order, and at great speed it runs towards Su Qing, grabbing her away from the zombie's path before it gets the chance to finish her off. The zombie hits the ground with its weapon, shocked that there is no sign of the girl in the rubble. Lin then tells Li Shui to take Su Qing to the nearest treatment zone while he takes care of the elite zombie. Li Shui acknowledges the order, but the zombie wastes no time charging at Lin. Lin then orders the slime to use the slime spit skill. Excited, the slime leaps into the air and releases slime liquid all over the zombie. After this, Lin orders the slime to use the demonic dance. Even with these two skills combined, the zombie is barely damaged. Lin realizes that the elite zombie has a high defense to boast, which is why they can only deal 50% damage. Since the zombie is a problem, he concludes that looking for another way to deal with it will be the best way forward. Suddenly, Lin realizes that the slime can actually melt the zombie's body. Because of this, Lin orders the slime to target the zombie's ankles by combining the demonic dance and the corrosive slime. As usual, the slime excitedly takes the order, dashing toward the zombie's lower body. The zombie doesn't initially figure out what is happening to it until it loses balance and crashes to the ground. Meanwhile, Li Shui is busy casting healing magic on Su Qing. Su Qing slightly opens her eyes to see Lin taking on the zombie all by himself. Lin then tells the slime to go after the zombie's legs. The zombie tries to defend itself, but the slime's liquid submerges it, leaving its HP draining drastically. In no time, the zombie is fully submerged in the slime's corrosive liquid, thus killing it. The system informs Lin that he has defeated the elite corrupted zombie, and by this, he has gained 120 experience points. The zombie also drops some loot, the corpse hammer, wolf skin, and wolf teeth, which are 10 pieces each. Lin also leveled up, and he is surprised that he got so many experience points, which can only be because he took down a strong monster. Li Shui is impressed by what she just witnessed, leaving her to ask if summoners are usually as strong as Lin is. Su Qing is also fully awake, and she tells Li Shui that it is not about Lin's class. Su Qing easily figures out that Lin himself is extremely strong even without his class or skills. Lin then walks up to her, asking her how she is feeling. Su Qing tells our MC that she is feeling better, since it is just a minor injury. Li Shui then adds that her spell is helping Su Qing, but they need to take a break. Su Qing refuses, reminding the two that they have to compete for the top spot so they don't have the luxury of resting. Li Shui tries calling her attention to the fact that she is weak, but she argues that she still has the strength to move. She gets on her feet to prove her point. She takes a few steps, but she starts trembling. Lin grabs her, reminding her that she won't be able to get the first position if she ends up dead. Suqing finally sees some sense in what Lin is trying to tell her, and she agrees they take a break. Lin points out that there is a cave nearby, and he suggests that they rest there for the night. Once they have set up camp in the cave, Lin tells the two to rest while he patrols the area for danger. Before he finishes his statement, Li Shui has fallen asleep because he used too much mana, leaving her totally exhausted. Lin and Suqing cannot believe that Li Shui just passed out in seconds. Lin then tells Suqing to also rest while he checks the area for danger. Suqing's face turns red while thanking Lin for saving her life. Lin stares at her weirdly, and Suqing quickly tells the dude that she is actually a good person who appreciates those who help her. Trying to hide how red her face had turned, she turned around to sleep, telling Lin that he should forget about what she said. Lin walks out of the cave, smiling. He gets outside the cave and decides to check out his stats since he has reached level 3. Lin grins when he realizes that he has gotten a significant increase in his stats. His HP has jumped from 800 to 1,200. His attack power has also increased from 12 to 40, and he also got some changes in his other stats. In addition to his improved stats, he acquired the fully armored skill, which is equivalent to an amplification buff. Since he was given 400 HP from his last leveling up, Lin decides to level up the slime to level 4. He has 1,200 health points available to him, and he sacrifices 400 points. The slime grins as it gets buffed up. Its attack power increases from 1,200 to 1,400. The slime also acquired a new skill, the slime split. This new skill gets Lin curious and he decides to equip it and try it out. Once the skill is equipped, he orders the slime to activate, and just then, the slime splits into two. Lin realizes that the slime's HP has been equally split, and the same goes for the defense. But its agility actually increased. Lin is quite impressed, but he has no idea how long the skill will remain active. Just then, the timer appears in front of him, revealing that the skill's cooldown is 3 minutes. Lin almost loses his mind when he realizes that he has just a measly 3 minutes to make use of the skill. He wonders what the slime can do in just 3 minutes, but suddenly, he hears a loud noise coming from inside the cave. He immediately figures out that his comrades are in danger. He rushes into the cave to see them screaming and telling a monster to stay away from them. Without hesitation, Lin orders the slime to attack the terrifying monster. The slime shoots out its spit at the monster, but this only deducts 25 health points. Lin is shocked that his slime's attack can do just a little damage against the monster, which turns out to be a giant snow rabbit. It is a level 8 monster with 800 health points to boast. It also has 80 attack power points, which makes it pretty dangerous. According to the info displayed by the system on the rabbit, Lin realizes that they are beasts that live in ice and snow throughout the year. In addition to this, they have thick fur that defends against basic attacks. The girls immediately assume that they have reached the end of the road since the power gap between them is enormous. The rabbit roars in anger as it charges toward Lin. Suqing fears for him, screaming at him to watch out. Lin doesn't appear to be scared as it orders the slime to shoot liquids at the rabbit. However, this poses little or no threat to the rabbit as it punches the slime away like a trash can. The rabbit's speed gives it the advantage to dodge the slime's attacks, and it finally starts to dawn on Lin that there might be a bit of a problem. He screams at the demon slime, telling it to retreat and use the demonic dance and corrosive slime skills. The slime acknowledges the order, but the rabbit's agility is way too high. It is able to move past all the traps that Lin is trying to lay for it. Fear grips the team as Li Shui questions why the rabbit is moving so fast. Suqing reveals that the rabbit is the most dangerous monster in the Cold Valley Abyss, and because of this, it has taken out a bunch of warriors. However, Suqing is confused as to why the monster is attacking them when they didn't go near his territory. As if things are not bad enough yet, Lin realizes that the demonic dance is on cooldown. He immediately orders the slime to retreat back to his position. However, the rabbit catches the slime and punches it into the ground. Li Shui sees this and moves in to help while Suqing screams at her to calm down. Li Shui picks up a rock and hurls it at the rabbit's head. This ultimately changes the rabbit's attention from the slime to Li Shui. Li Shui gasps in horror when she realizes that she might be fugged. She screams in horror as the terrifying rabbit walks toward her. Li Shui reaches into her pouch and grabs the first item her hand can grab. The item turns out to be a carrot, and she hurls it at the rabbit. Surprisingly, the rabbit forgets about its scary personality as it starts to munch on the carrot just like regular rabbits. This is when it dawns on Lin that the rabbit is only hungry. On the other hand, Suqing is forced to question Li Shui's reason for carrying around carrots. Li Shui reveals that she brought the carrots with her since they are required to bring food items for the mission. After consuming the initial carrot, the rabbit turns around to look at the team menacingly. This sends a cold chill down their spine, and Li Shui quickly throws the rabbit a bunch of carrots to keep it away from smashing them into spaghetti. While the rabbit is busy munching on the carrots, Lin figures out that they are almost out of carrots, and they need to find a way to annihilate the rabbit before then. Lin then orders Li Shui to throw her pouch to Su Qing. Su Qing is shocked when she hears this, but Li Shui doesn't even waste time before throwing the pouch to her. The moment the pouch gets into her hand, the rabbit turns its attention toward her. Su Qing screams at Lin, asking him if he has a plan for the rabbit. Su Qing immediately transforms into her beast form and dashes away from the rabbit. Lin assures Su Qing that he has a plan, which he will use to kill the rabbit. The rabbit gets mad for failing to catch Su Qing after a few tries, causing it to roar in anger. After running around for a moment, Su Qing asks Lin what his plan is. Lin then points to the hardest part in the cave, telling Su Qing to lead the rabbit straight there. Immediately Lin says this, Su Qing figures out what he is trying to achieve. She heads straight for the designated location while the rabbit chases after her. In normal beast style, Su Qing runs on fours while holding the carrot pouch in her mouth. She makes sure to get very close to the wall before changing trajectory, causing the rabbit to head straight into the wall. The impact of hitting the wall takes a toll on the rabbit, and Lin orders the slime to do its thing. The slime then appears above the rabbit, releasing its corrosive liquid on the rabbit. Lin grins like a villain when he realizes that he finally has the rabbit where he wants it. He then orders the slime to use the split skill and the slime spit skill to engage the annoying rabbit. Fear grips the rabbit as it realizes what is coming for it. The slime rains its corrosive liquid down on the trapped rabbit, ultimately depleting its HP and defeating it. This grants Lin 200 experience points and 100 experience points to reach the next level. Lin figures out that the slime will have difficulties against a strong enemy, but he somehow has a way to navigate his way around a similar situation. Li Shui heaves a sigh of relief that they have defeated the slime since she thought she was going to die. On the other hand, Su Qing is still pissed that Lin used her as bait to take down the rabbit. Lin scratches his head nervously, telling Su Qing that she was the only one who was fast enough to move past the rabbit. Su Qing agrees with what Lin is saying, but she diverts her anger to Li Shui, blaming her for bringing carrots into the abyss, which led to the rabbit chasing them down. Li Shui tries to justify her actions, saying she was trying to provide the team with dry food. However, Su Qing screams at her to take out the carrots. Li Shui is about to ditch the carrots, but Lin stops her. He points out the obvious fact that the rabbits have given them more experience points than all the monsters that they have encountered so far. He lets the team know that it will be much easier for them to level up if they can lure more rabbit snow into the cave and wipe them out. Since the condition for clearing the Cold Valley Abyss is to defeat the level 10 boss, he suggests that they get to the 4th level or above. Lin is currently at level 3, while the girls are at level 2, respectively. Li Shui understands the need to level, but she reminds Lin that they had a hard time dealing with just one rabbit. Lin wears a sinister smile, telling the girls that the last time they were the prey, but this time around they are going to be the hunters. Su Qing is also on board with Lin since she is aiming for the top spot, and she can't be going around looking for monsters when the monsters can come to them. She decides that it is time they start planning out their move. The team then places a carrot on the ground while hiding behind a rock. This soon attracts a rabbit to the location, but while the rabbit is busy eating, Lin and his teammates launch a surprise attack. The trio keeps this up, and 3 hours later, Lin has reached level 5 while the girls make it to level 4, respectively. The girls are glad that they have been in the abyss for just 5 hours, but they have leveled up really well. The first place record time was Fang, who cleared the abyss in 8 hours. Li Shui then brings up the idea that they can actually break the record. Su Qing is doubtful since the abyss boss is quite dangerous and will not just sit around while they send it to the afterlife. Lin remembers that the guide told them that the abyss boss is a zombie leader who commands wolves and the undead to attack its enemies. Lin doesn't think the boss will be hard to defeat, but it will come down to a war of endurance in the end. Lin judges that they should be able to take down the boss in 2 hours or less with their current level and power. Li Shui then asks them what the plan is. Su Qing suggests that they rest, and Lin agrees to this, saying they should take a 30-minute break. Lin then levels up his slime, but he is not particularly pleased with the fact that he has to reduce his HP to level up the slime. He figures out that he has to find another way to level up the slime when he returns outside. Lin notices that he didn't get new skills and his stats didn't go up as much. Lin can only hope that the boss fight is not tedious. Suddenly, they hear a loud noise outside the cave, catching their attention. They rush outside to see a unicorn standing in the distance. The unicorn turns out to be a hidden boss, which is also level 10. However, it appears to be dangerous as it boasts of 120 attack power points. For its skills, it has the Charging Thorn, the Soul Purifying Song, the Stomping Charge, and the Dropping Meteor. Apparently, the unicorn is a noble and pure creature that uses the abyss as its resting place. The unicorn's duty is to protect the creatures in the abyss from being disturbed, and whenever it feels like the balance of life is being tampered with, it shows up to take care of the problem. Sweat runs down Lin's face when he realizes that they are going up against an actual unicorn. Lin considers himself a lucky person to have run into the hidden boss, but at the same time, he figures out that he needs to be careful since the stats are much stronger than the original boss zombie leader. The slime stares at the unicorn with so much tension while waiting to engage it. Just then, the unicorn uses one of its skills to hypnotize Lin and his teammates. This affects Lin's mental state, and he starts praising the unicorn's elegant presence while walking forward aimlessly. It turns out that the unicorn is leading Lin and his teammates down into a ditch to fall and die. The slime swings into action and sinks its teeth into Lin's leg to jerk him back to real life. Lin opens his eyes, wondering why the slime bit him until he sees where he is heading. Lin turns around to see the girls almost at the edge of the cliff. Just as they are about to step off the cliff, Lin rushes over to grab them. He drags them back, helping them to regain their senses. The trio then hides behind a rock to assess their situation. The girls wonder why they are being attacked by a unicorn when the Abyss boss is supposed to be a zombie leader. Lin reveals that the unicorn's duty is to protect the creatures in the Abyss, and because they have annihilated a few rabbits, it has deemed them dangerous. Li Shui realizes that the unicorn didn't come after them when they were killing the corrupted wolves and the zombies because they are no longer living things, unlike the rabbits. Su Qing mentions that they were supposed to follow the dungeon guide and take out monsters on their way to finally reach the dungeon boss. Su Qing never imagined they would run into a hidden boss, which is more dangerous than the dungeon's original boss. Su Qing comes to the sad reality that they are probably going to die at the hands of the unicorn. Li Shui starts crying, suggesting that they run away because she doesn't want to die. Lin lets the girls know that there is no escape route for them because the unicorn already has its eyes on them for killing the snow rabbits. Li Shui blames herself for bringing carrots on the mission when they could have just taken out zombies to finally reach the final boss. However, they are about to end up dead because of a mistake that she made. Lin then pats her on the shoulder, telling her to stop saying trash because they were able to level up thanks to the unintentional decision that she made. He tells Li Shui that they finally have a chance to clear the dungeon as long as they are able to take down the unicorn. Lin gets on his feet to act cool while telling the girls that he will protect them against the final boss. Su Qing is not ready to let Lin steal her shine, and she gets up to show some level of confidence, telling Lin that she is not afraid of a mere unicorn. She even acts bossy, telling Lin and Li Shui not to hold her back when engaging the boss. Li Shui is happy to see the level of confidence oozing out of them, and she thanks them for their help. Just then, the unicorn directs its attack toward where they are busy discussing their useless plan. The unicorn activates the charging thorn skill. It moves toward them, and Lin screams at his teammates to spread out. The unicorn starts running toward them in rage, while using the soul-purifying song skill. This sends a wave of pain into their heads, but Li Shui isn't affected. She immediately starts to cast a counterspell to purify and resist the unicorn's spell. By playing her instrument, she helps her teammates break down the unicorn's psychological attack. The unicorn taps into another skill, the stomping charge. It charges toward the only person who poses a threat to its psychological attacks, Li Shui. It aims to impale her with its horn, but Su Qing jumps in at the right time, pushing its horn away from Li Shui's path. She then delivers a kick to the unicorn's head to send it away from Li Shui. This triggers the unicorn's rage, causing it to change its attention to Su Qing. Su Qing gives it a head start, but the unicorn is able to close down the gap in no time. Su Qing's smile soon fades away when she realizes how dangerous the unicorn is. Lin can see the trajectory of the unicorn's horn and knows Su Qing is in danger. Su Qing fails to dodge the unicorn's horn, and she eventually gets impaled. She crashes to the ground while Li Shui runs to her to help. The unicorn flies into the air to proudly look down on what it has done. Lin is pissed, and he summons his slime, telling the creature that it is time they swing into action. The demon slime is now at level 9, with an attack power of 160 points. The slime leaps toward the unicorn, releasing its corrosive liquid to burn the unicorn. This causes the unicorn a new level of pain that forces it to lose its balance. Li Shui and Su Qing cannot believe that the slime is actually suppressing the unicorn. Lin reveals that he knows the unicorn would be scared of the demon slime's dark attributes, but he never knew it would be up to the level that he is currently witnessing. Lin is impressed, and he orders the slime to continue attacking the unicorn. Momentarily, the unicorn can no longer take the pain and tries to run away, but Lin orders the slime to use the corrosive slime skill and demonic dance. Happily, the slime jumps toward the unicorn. It catches up to the unicorn and gives it the side eyes before burning it again. The unicorn screams in so much pain that it crashes to the ground. Lin is impressed by the slime's contribution, and he commends it. Once the unicorn is immobilized on the ground, it activates the purifying song as a last resort. Lin orders the team to cover their ears to avoid being affected. The unicorn then heads directly for the slime, and when Lin notices this, he orders the slime to split. Just at the point of impact, the slime separates, rendering the unicorn's effort totally useless. The unicorn now has 2 slimes to engage, and it activates its stomping charge skill. It tries stomping on the slimes, and Lin figures out that he needs to defeat the unicorn before he loses the fully armored skill that allows him to protect the slime. Lin then orders the slime to use the corrosive slime skill, and the slime immediately leaps up behind the unicorn. The unicorn steps into a pool of corrosive slime before being jumped from behind. The slime fully rests on the unicorn's body, sending a wave of agony through its body that forces it to scream. Realizing that it is about to lose its life, the unicorn is forced to enter a berserker state. Lin figures out that the unicorn is going crazy and urges the slime to retreat. The unicorn gets on its feet, but instead of attacking, it stands there watching Lin. Suddenly, Lin notices that the unicorn's blood is displaying some unique properties. He is in the middle of this when Su Qing rushes toward the unicorn, asking Lin why he has not delivered the final blow to finish off the unicorn. Li Shui also joins to help, but Lin screams at them to stop. Su Qing ignores Lin's plea and hits the unicorn so hard that it is sent crashing to the ground. Just then, Su Qing realizes that the unicorn is actually crying. This shocks her, and in its dying moments, the unicorn lets out a loud scream. Lin and his teammates cover their ears, and Lin orders the slime to devour the unicorn's power. The slime does this, and Lin smiles, believing that it is all over. Suddenly, the entire area starts coming down, and Lin tells his teammates to retreat to where he is. They run over to him, and the slime provides cover for them, using its body. The girls wonder why the area is suddenly coming down, and Lin points out that the dungeon's guardian is dead. Because of this, the magic holding the dungeon has started losing its effect. Just then, Lin orders the slime to protect the unicorn's body. The slime takes the order, covering the unicorn with its entire body to protect it. Momentarily, the mountain stops collapsing. Lin then suggests that they check out the unicorn's corpse. Su Qing is confused as she has no idea what is happening. Lin then reveals that the unicorn's blood has healing properties, and because it came in contact with the ground, it started healing. Su Qing wastes no time, suggesting that they finish off the unicorn so that they can leave the dungeon, but Lin stops her, telling her that they can't kill it yet. Su Qing wonders why Lin is stopping her from killing the unicorn. Li Shui notices that something is wrong with the unicorn, shocking Su Qing that she is taking Lin's side. Lin wonders what the unicorn is trying to pass along to them, and it suddenly lets off a huge scream. This calls Su Qing's attention to terminating the unicorn, but Lin still stops her. Su Qing scolds Lin, urging him not to stop her again. Lin then notices that there is a bulge in the unicorn's tummy. Suddenly, a horn bursts through the unicorn's belly. Momentarily, a baby unicorn appears from inside the unicorn. Su Qing assumes that the boss unicorn has the power to reincarnate itself. As usual, she prepares to terminate the unicorn before anything else. She lunges at the unicorn, but Lin jumps to defend the unicorn and stop Su Qing from acting rashly. Su Qing ends up slashing Lin on the face, and the blood spills on the baby unicorn's horn. Su Qing is still screaming at Lin for acting so rashly when Lin gets the notification that he has sealed a contract with the baby unicorn. Everyone is shocked to see a bright green light behind them. The baby unicorn transforms into pure light and escapes into Lin's consciousness. Lin checks the unicorn's stats, and it is still pretty low, which is understandable for a baby unicorn. Lin is glad that his guess about the unicorn trying to protect its baby was correct. Lin is pleased that he now has 2 summons. Suddenly, the surroundings start to shake again, causing the ground to crack. Su Qing and Li Shui make a run for it, but they turn around to see Lin standing above the mother unicorn. Lin bows beside the unicorn, assuring it that he is going to take care of its baby. The notification comes in that Lin has defeated the unicorn, and he is given a bunch of loot, too. In addition to this, he broke the record for clearing the dungeon. The ground continues shaking and gets worse than before. Su Qing and Li Shui scream at him to get a move on, but before he can move, the ground under him caves in, and he falls in. His teammates are horrified, but while falling to his death, the system asks him if he is ready to leave the dungeon, and he quickly taps the yes option. A pixelated light appears on Lin and his teammates' bodies, and in no time, they find themselves outside the dungeon. Su Qing immediately walks over to him, grabbing him by the shirt, while Lin urges to chill out. Meanwhile, the other warriors have gotten the notification that the rankings will be changing since there's a new record breaker in town. This leaves them wondering because the leaderboard hasn't changed in years. Some suggest that it might be Lin, but they quickly trash the thought, saying there is no way a loser like Lin will break Fang's record. Just then, the portal starts to glow, indicating that someone is stepping out. Someone asks Lin and his teammates if they were the ones who broke the record, but his friend scolds him, telling him that Lin is a nobody. He says Lin and his friends must have been forced to leave the dungeon. Su Qing is pissed when she hears this. and she tries lashing out at the guys, but Lin and Li Shui hold her back, since they are already used to being ridiculed by people. Wang Dong and his team finally step out of the dungeon. He stares at Lin in the usual way he looks at him. He makes it clear that he wasn't expecting trash like him to actually make it out of the dungeon alive. Wang then notices that Su Qing is with Lin, and he wonders why a beauty goddess is with a piece of trash like Lin. Wang's friend supports him, but Su Qing just tells them to get lost, while adding a pinch of insult to it. This gets the dude mad, but Wang tells him to back off. Wang then asks Lin if he can now see the gap between them, but Lin laughs, asking him what trash gap he is talking about. Wang allows his emotions to get the better of him as usual, and he grabs Lin by the shirt, screaming at him until he hears the people behind him talking about the leaderboard getting an update. They are all shocked when they hear that Lin Tianhao has taken the first position on the board. Wang calmly leaves the dude in shame while trying to process what he just heard. The side characters start pointing to Lin, talking about how great he is to have pushed Fang Changyun off the leaderboard after 3 years. Wang's friends, on the other hand, refuse to believe what is right before their very eyes. They start their usual assumption that Lin must have cheated just like he did during the school test. However, the other warriors there don't think Lin cheated since there should be no way someone could cheat in the dungeon. Just then, they hear a voice behind them talking about how naive they are for thinking someone cheated in the dungeon. The pressure from the voice causes them to turn around, and they are shocked to see the two cool siblings, Murong Yu and his sister, Murong Shui, walking toward them while being accompanied by their NPC teammates. The crowd immediately turns its attention toward the cool siblings whom it rarely sees outside. Even Lin is shocked to see them since they are both great warriors who have titles that are very hard to obtain. Murong Yu is a level 9 swordsman with an A-rank talent level. Murong Shui, on the other hand, is a level 8 assassin who possesses an A-rank talent level 2. Lin wonders why the siblings suddenly showed up at the place since they are of a high-status class and they usually enter the abyss via special teleportation gates. However, there are also high-status dudes who choose to form teams with regular dudes to enter the Black Abyss. Since they already have a team, Lin is further baffled at what they are doing at the low-level place. As expected, Wang walks up to Murong Shui to pitch himself to her, but she just ignores him as if he were nothing. Wang's friend gets mad over this again, screaming at Murong Shui and demanding to know why she just ignored his friend as if he were a nobody. Murong Shui piles on the insult, telling them that she is disappointed that such a trash person managed to awaken as a member of the Holy Warriors. This further triggers the dude, but Wang stops him from doing anything rash. Wang then tells the siblings that Lin is just a dude who cheated in the dungeon. Wang turns to Lin, telling him that he is lucky, but there won't be a next time for him. Wang and his band of losers are forced to leave the scene, and Su Qing heaves a sigh of relief that the troublemakers are finally gone. Murong Yu then finally gets the chance to talk to Lin, asking him if he is the dude who just changed the ranking of the Black Abyss. Murong Yu removes his glove to shake hands with Lin while introducing himself to him. Lin is genuinely shocked to see that Murong Yu was seeking him out of all people. This leaves him stunned until Murong Shui screams at him, asking him if he is blind to the fact that her brother is trying to shake him. Murong Yu simply urges his hot-blooded sister to chill out, and Lin finally comes out of his zone as he nervously exchanges greetings with Murong Yu. Lin is about to shake his hand when Su Qing grabs him and stops him. Su Qing turns to the siblings, telling them that Lin has already teamed up with her. Murong Yu is offended when he hears, and with disgust written all over his face, he tells Su Qing to move aside while he speaks to Lin. Su Qing ignores what he said since she is not ready to let anyone steal Lin away from her. She tries dragging Lin away, but Murong Shui blocks them, frankly telling Su Qing that they want Lin on their team too. The other warriors are shocked when they see the Murong family fighting to have a summoner in their ranks. One of the NPCs mentions that Lin is not an ordinary summoner since he is the first of his kind to break the Abyss record. It finally dawns on the others why the Murong family wants him, since this will help them climb up the ranks very easily. Su Qing maintains her position, telling the siblings that she is not handing Lin over to them. Su Qing knows that her record will vanish if she does so. One of Murong's team members steps in, urging Su Qing to back off while they take Lin away. The NPCs consider Su Qing's actions reckless, since it would be foolish for her to fight the Murong family. Li Shui subtly asks Lin if he plans to team up with the Murong family, but Su Qing says there is no chance on earth that Lin will consider it. Murong Yu then reminds Su Qing that she has no power to decide for Lin. He suggests that they ask Lin what he wants instead. Murong Yu then proposes his offer, glazing himself as the Knight of the Golden Divine Lion, while urging Lin to join his team. Lin is presented with an option on the screen to join Murong Yu's team, but Su Qing is confident that Lin would not join them. Just then, Lin shocks everyone when he reveals that he is open to joining them. Su Qing and Li Shui almost lose their minds when they hear this. Suching is forced to turn to Lin, asking him why he is choosing to join Murong-yu and his team. Murong-yu, on the other hand, is glad that Lin is making the right decision. Murong-yu claps for Lin, urging him to accept the invitation displayed on his screen. Murong-yu smiles at Lin, telling him that they will have the opportunity to break records together if he accepts the invitation. In a twist of things again, Lin declines the offer, shocking everyone as they wonder what is going on inside his head. Murong-shui gets mad, but Murong-yu blocks her from acting out. Lin lets Murong-yu know that he is actually ready to join them, but they will have to agree to some requests that he has. Murong-shui stares at Lin in a very disgusting manner, telling him that they are already doing him a favor by asking him to join their prestigious team. She reminds him not to be an ungrateful dude, since he is just a trash summoner. Lin realizes that they are trying to act all high and mighty, and he turns around to leave. Murong-yu is forced to ask him what terms he is talking about. Lin smiles, saying they are nothing serious. The first condition he has is that whenever they enter the abyss, they will always follow his orders. The second one is that no one is allowed to steal experience from him as they wish. The third condition is that all the loot from the monsters will fall to him. Murong-shui is shocked to hear this. The NPCs are also in disbelief because Lin just made some really impossible requests. The NPCs don't see the Murong family obeying a summoner's orders, but at the same time they need Lin's influence to climb the rankings. Lin stands there proud, telling Murong-yu that he will gladly join if he can accept the requests that he just presented to him. Murong-yu's team members start screaming at their captain not to accept the preposterous offer because Lin clearly doesn't take them seriously. Suching laughs at them, telling them that they are free to make it to the top of the ranking list if they can't accept the conditions given by Lin. The side characters cannot believe that Lin just made fun of the Murong family right in front of everyone. Another side character points out that Lin broke the record, which means he is currently a hotshot, and even the mayor will have no choice but to put some respect on his name. Murong-yu's teammates want to beat Lin up, but their boss stops them, reminding them of the real reason why they came. Murong-yu then asks Lin why he is taunting them when he knows that he has no intention of joining the team. Lin then replies that he hates it when powerful people try to use their influence to snatch people away. As expected, this gets on Murong-shui's nerves, but her brother is there to stop her from lashing out. Murong-yu then tells Lin that he should not think too highly of himself because he is the #1 in the Cold Valley Abyss ranking, because his happiness can easily fade away if he is not careful. Murong-yu says this with all animosity towards Lin, and since Lin is not ready to take their offer, he thinks it is time they leave. Suching laughs at them, telling them to go away in shame. However, Murong-shui is very pissed that they were embarrassed, and she promises to teach Lin a lesson in the future. Lin stretches like he doesn't care, and he tells his teammates that they need to enter the abyss again so that they can reach level 10. Lin suddenly feels something sinister towards him. He turns around to see the girls' scary faces looking down on him, telling him how lucky he is that he didn't join Murong's team. Lin can sense what is coming for him, and he urges the girls to listen to what he has to say first. However, they ignore his plea and beat the crap out of him for making them worry. After they are done trashing him, Suching suggests that they restock and meet later. Since he has an hour left before they enter the abyss again, Lin decides to head into the woods. Because he was able to take down the unicorn, he gained massive experience, which pushed him to level 6. Since he doesn't know the skills of the unicorn he got, he decides to summon it. He activates the summoning portal, and this unleashes a bright white-blue light. But when everything clears off, nothing shows up. Lin is horrified when he can't find his summon. The system then informs him that the summoning failed, urging him to check the summon's status. He wonders what is going on, and the system asks him if he is ready to hatch his summon because it is not yet hatched. Lin presses the positive reply, and the system lets him know that he will have to wait for 3 days for the unicorn to be ready. This shocks Lin, but he knows he has no choice but to wait. He then decides to check the loot he got too. He is told to open the completion chest, where he will be randomly given equipment. He opens the chest, and he receives mail. The mail turns out to be the historical record gift pack. He opens it and finds a congratulatory message, alongside a title, The Fastest Man. Lin is confused by the title of The Fastest Man, but since he is not ready to rack his brain, he just forgets about it and decides to check the gift pack. He is told to open it so he can get a random high-level Black Abyss equipment, material, or potion. Without wasting time, he opens it. 2 packs appear in front of him, and he decides to check out what is inside the completion chest first. Inside the completion chest, he finds a Guardian armor, which is usable by all classes. This provides an increase in stats, and it also grants 50 experience points when used. Lin is pleased with what the armor provides, and he decides to check out what is inside the box. He opens it to find a silver-grade necklace, shocking him. The necklace is called the Ice Necklace, and it grants a bunch of boosts for the user. Lin cannot believe that he got a silver grade equipment right off the bat. Apparently, equipment is ranked into 9 grades. There is the no grade, bronze grade, silver grade, gold grade, platinum grade, diamond grade, radiant grade, legendary grade, and divine grade. Lin smiles at the loot and he concludes that he has the backing of heaven. Excited, Lin immediately equips the armor. This merges with his body, and Lin realizes that having a gear makes so much difference. His status panel has also gotten longer from obtaining several stat points. However, he only has 2 skill points. He decides to use one of his skill points without even thinking twice. He upgrades his fully armored skill from level 1 straight to level 3. This is the skill that allows him to protect his summoned beast, and with the upgrade, it comes with less consumption of spirit power. Lin is glad that he is able to do this, as it will definitely save him some time clearing the dungeons. Lin then decides to level up the slime. He gets the offer that he can advance his slime 6 levels forward. Lin is shocked to see this, and he immediately becomes curious about it since there is no description. Nonetheless, he accepts the offer, and this halves his health points. The sacrifice becomes successful, and the slime starts to undergo the changes. This releases a massive energy blast that forces Lin to cover his eyes. Lin is left in shock when the process is complete and he sees a humanoid slime in front of him. Meanwhile, Su Qing has gotten to the entrance of the abyss since it is time for them to enter again, but Lin is nowhere to be found. She wonders where the dude is, and Li Shui tells her that she can actually check his location on the team panel. Su Qing then opens the panel, and she is surprised to see that he is in the woods. She wonders what the dude is doing in the woods, and she suggests that they go find him. In the woods, Lin is still trying to keep his shock to the bare minimum as he stares at the humanoid slime in front of him with round and plump melons on her chest. Lin wonders why the slime is not putting on any clothes, but before he knows it, the slime jumps into his arms. She knocks him to the ground in excitement while rubbing all of her milkers on Lin. Lin's face turns red, but he manages to get himself under control. He grabs the slime, telling her that she can't get a reaction out of him no matter how much she tries. Lin dives into his storage space and brings out a gown for the slime to wear. The slime collects it and absorbs it instead of wearing it. This is when Lin realizes that he is dealing with a baby slime. He is forced to help the slime wear the gown. Lin cannot believe that he has somehow become a father to one of his summons. He finally realizes that the slime can use professional gear because it is now in a humanoid form. Lin then decides that it is time he checks the status of the advanced slime. The slime has received a massive increase in stats as her health points have jumped from 1,600 to 2,700. Her attack power has also increased to 205, while she has 2 new skills, the Acid Rain and the Demon's Embrace. The Acid Rain is an AoE, and the Demon's Embrace is a single target attack skill. The Acid Rain allows the slime to throw a part of her body to form clouds, releasing highly corrosive acid rain on a targeted area to cause continuous damage. And for the Demon's Embrace, the target will receive continuous damage once the slime manages to grab them. Lin is impressed by the skills as he can't wait to try them out. On the other hand, Su Qing and Li Shui are still tracking him down while wondering what he is doing so deep in the forest. They finally find him, and Su Qing sees Lin hugging a girl from what she sees from her perspective. She immediately screams at Lin, asking him what he is doing. Lin is shocked to see the two, asking them why they are in the woods. Su Qing cannot believe that Lin is asking such a stupid question, which basically means he is saying they are intruding on his sweet moment. Lin realizes that Su Qing has taken everything the wrong way yet again. He already knows what is coming as he gets beaten up by the angry Su Qing, who calls him a pervert. After he is done getting trashed, Su Qing finally learns that the girl is the advanced slime. Instead of accepting what she did, she still blames Lin for not explaining quicker, but Lin reminds her that she didn't give him a chance to do so. Lin then unsummons the slime before asking the girls why they are in the woods. Su Qing then points out that their meeting time is already up, and they obviously cannot enter the abyss without him. This is when it dawns on Lin that he has been in the woods for quite some time, and it is time to head back into the abyss again. Meanwhile, Murong Yu and his team are clearing out the dungeon by wiping out the snow rabbits like they are nothing. Apparently, they are in search of something, but can't find it since someone has beaten them to it. One of the team members proposed that they buy the item back from whoever took it. His colleague smacks him on the head for bringing up such a stupid idea. He reminds him that they are looking for a 1,000-year mythical creature, and they are also on a secret mission, which means they can't announce it to the world to hear. Another team member wonders if the creature has been snatched up by another guild, but Murong Shui is tired of hearing them blabber, and she tells them to keep their mouths shut. Murong Shui believes that it was taken by a rogue team, which is a term given to guildless players. Apparently, the creature they have been after is the mythical unicorn. Since no other guild has the fragments, Murong Shui believes that there is no way they could have known that the creature had awakened. This is when it dawns on her that there is the possibility that a team ran into it when they were inside the abyss and managed to defeat the unicorn. Murongyu agrees with her sister, mentioning that the dungeon is acting all weird, and the unicorn also awakened earlier than expected. He strongly agrees with her since their guild, the Golden Lions, is the only one aware of the unicorn's awakening. Murongyu figures out that the difficulty level of the dungeon is about to go up, but he wonders who could have defeated the unicorn. Murongxue then suggests that they find all the teams that have recently entered the dungeon and kill all of them to find out the particular team that defeated the unicorn. In fact, she has her eyes on the arrogant Lin. Murongyu then reminds his sister that the Golden Lion Guild does not go after innocents, and in addition to this, whoever defeated the unicorn is definitely not a walkover. Deep down, Murongyu is worried that it might be Lin. Before further arguments, Murongyu tells his sister and the rest of the team that they will return to the HQ, then decide what they are going to do later. Murongyu smashes his sword into the ground, and he calls out the activation word to transport them back to the guild. On the other hand, Lin and his team have just entered the abyss. Li Shui has cast her cold resistance buff on them again to help with the cold. Just as expected, Su Qing leads the way, suggesting that they move faster. They arrive at where the first dire wolf usually appears, and Su Qing is already waiting to beat the wolf to a pulp. In no time, the wolves appear, and Li Shui is shocked to see 5 wolves running at them. Even Lin is blown away as he doesn't expect the monster count at the first spawn point to have increased exponentially. Su Qing, on the other hand, is hyped as she dashes toward the wolves, ready to tear them down. She calls on Li Shui for buffs, and the lady assures her that she's got her back. Using her instrument, she unleashes a powerful sound wave that disrupts the wolves' hearing, giving Su Qing the chance to cut through them like they are nothing. She deals high damage just from a single slash, and she confidently wipes out the wolves, leaving Lin impressed. He realizes that Su Qing has received so many upgrades that have made her even more deadly. Su Qing decides to aura farm as the wolf's blood drips down her hand while talking about how she will confidently take down her enemies, no matter their numbers. On the other hand, Lin is still trying to figure out why there are more wolves at the start. But he knows that the next spawn point will confirm his suspicions. When they arrive at the next spawn point, Lin can clearly see that there is something wrong. Su Qing tells Li Shui to keep buffing her up so she can take on more monsters. Suddenly, the ground under them starts to shake. Li Shui panics, but Su Qing urges her to calm down. Just then, they spot movements from under the snow. A terrifying zombie appears from under, but it is not the only zombie. It turns out to be 2, and just behind them, dire wolves and a dire wolf king also spawn. Lin realizes that the monsters were hiding under the snow, and somehow they have caught them in a hunting formation. Li Shui starts to panic as she asks her friends what they should do. Lin then mentions that the attacks are no longer random like before. He starts to suspect that the monsters have developed intelligence, and just then, one of the zombies tries to smash the girls with its mallet, but Su Qing is able to get them out of the danger zone. They crash to the ground, but Su Qing suggests that they get back on their feet quickly. Lin and the zombies stare at each other like arch rivals while wolves charge at him from behind. The girls scream in horror, believing that they are done for, but Lin decides to wait till the last moment to aura farm. He unleashes his summon and brings out the demon slime. Meanwhile, those who are outside have noticed that there is something wrong with the dungeon. The ground is shaking, and the entrance of the dungeon has something going on with it. Just then, warriors are expelled from the dungeons with their limbs missing. There are also skeletons thrown out of the dungeon, leaving the officials confused. It turns out that the skeletons are dead warriors, and one of the surviving warriors, who has his entire lower body missing, tells the guard that the dungeon is erupting. This is the last thing he said before dying, but the guards remain confused. They still do not understand what the dead dude means by saying the dungeon is erupting. The guards look around to see bodies littered everywhere, leaving a horrific scene. As if this is not enough, more skeletons appear from inside the dungeon. Suddenly, the dungeon's difficulty changes from a beginner-level dungeon to a nightmare-level dungeon. The guards realize that the dungeon has gotten so dangerous that the current level of warriors will not be able to handle it. The guards scream at the top of their voices, demanding that they inform the mayor of the recent development. Back in the dungeon, Lin has one hand in his pocket while summoning his slime to engage the monsters that are charging toward him. The emergence of the slime changes everything as it burns away all the monsters close to Lin, leaving the zombies shocked. All the wolves that were trying to tear Lin to shreds have melted away like they are nothing. The slime hugs Lin from behind as she stares at the monsters in a cute and deadly manner. Su Qing and Li Shui stare in amazement at how strong their teammate is. Lin decides to play a hero, and he tells the girls to retreat while he handles the monsters. The girls don't even argue as they both run to hide behind a rock. However, Su Qing is worried about the strength of the monsters, and she wonders if he can really handle them by himself. Li Shui hypes Lin up, calling him the captain, while urging him to trash the monsters. This motivates Lin to tell the monsters that he is going to beat them so hard their mother won't recognize them. This gets to the Wolf King as it roars in anger while charging toward Lin. At the same time, its pack is closing in on Lin. Lin can see that they are trying to corner him and he tells the slime to hold them off. The slime goes after the Wolf King while the girls watch from a distance as Lin gets attacked from all sides. Su-Ching can see that the dire wolves and the Wolf King are turning out to be a big problem. Frantically, Lin tells the slime to form a defensive pattern as the wolves close down on them. The wolf tries to bite Lin, but they end up sinking their teeth into the slime instead. Surprisingly, this affects the wolves as they suffer critical hits. Li Shui and Su-Ching celebrate when they see this. Apparently, the slime's mucus is corrosive, which is hurting the wolves in return. Just then, the Wolf King joins and bites the slime without sustaining damage. The girls are shocked to see this as they start to wonder what they can do to help. Lin then tells Li Shui that all he needs from her is consistent healing. Li Shui takes the order and continues her thing while Lin is overrun by the angry wolves. Suddenly, Lin realizes that the zombies are on the move and he figures out that they are carrying out a coordinated attack. This confirms his suspicion about whether the monsters have intelligence. Seeing that Lin is getting overrun, Li Shui does what she does best, which is running into danger without using her head. However, Su-Ching stops her this time around. Li Shui asks Su-Ching how they are supposed to help Lin, and Su-Ching assures her that she will think of something. Su-Ching then brings out a potion that she has been trying her best not to use. Apparently, it is a vitality potion that temporarily enhances physical stats for 1 minute, but it takes double the damage after the effect ends. Su-Ching doesn't think about the downsides as she prepares to drink the potion. However, Lin finally decides that it is time he takes care of things. He activates the demon embrace, and the girls are stunned when Lin wipes out the wolves, grabbing onto him. Lin is able to kill the Wolf King and its entire pack with just a single strike. Lin's eyes turn red as a terrifying red aura surrounds him. Once the Wolf King is defeated, Lin is awarded the experience points. While Li Shui is celebrating that Lin won the battle, Su-Ching is left stunned as to how Lin is able to take down a level 10 Wolf King like it is nothing. The zombies realize that things are going badly, and they resort to a surprising skill move. They activate the fusion skill, Hammerstorm, by connecting with each other. This skill creates a zombie tornado, shocking Lin. Even Su-Ching is surprised that zombies inside a beginner-level dungeon are using a fusion skill. This is a skill that allows the monsters to enhance their attack and defense power since they are connected. Lin almost gets caught in the tornado, but the slime gets him out of the way. However, they are unable to dodge the second wave, causing them damage. Lin figures out that he is done for if he gets hit one more time. Li Shui falls to her knees, crying, and wondering what they can do to prevent the situation from getting worse. Since Su-Ching is not ready to watch Lin die, she decides to drink the vitality potion. The effect of the potion kicks in, and Su-Ching starts to transform into her bear spirit form, shocking Li Shui. Su-Ching's final transformation turns out to be a fully grown giant white bear. Li Shui cannot handle what she just saw, and she passes out cold on the floor. Su-Ching is impressed by the effect of the potion, as she never thought it would help her break through to her white bear form. Since Lin is getting battered left and right, Su-Ching wastes no time heading his way to help him out. Lin tries to fall back, but he is already trapped in the tornado. Realizing that there is no way out, Lin has already given up, believing that he is dead meat. Just as he is about to be crushed, Su-Ching swipes him away from the tornado's pressured grasp. Lin turns around to see that he was saved by Su-Ching, who has fully transformed into a bear. Lin is shocked, but Su-Ching screams at him to get a move on. Lin finally gets the chance to use Demon Embrace again. Su-Ching is impressed by the level of power that the dude wields. Su-Ching is soon knocked to the ground, and she realizes that the zombies are about to use the fusion skill again. She screams and calls Lin's attention to this. Lin is not ready to give the zombie the liberty to use the fusion skill again as he unleashes the Demon Embrace on it. He grabs the zombie, exerting so much force on it that it explodes. Su-Ching celebrates the win, and Lin mentions that Su-Ching is the real MVP because she appeared at the right time, or else he would have found himself in the afterlife. Just then, the double penalty effect of the potion kicks in. The double penalty hits Su-Ching and immediately drains her health points down to the last 10 health points. She crashes to the ground, and Lin rushes toward her to check on her. She coughs up blood, and Lin realizes that Su-Ching has almost run out of health points already. He brings out a potion and feeds it to her to help her regain her strength. Lin heaves a sigh of relief when he realizes that Su-Ching has escaped the critical state. However, he accidentally touches her soft melons in the process of attending to her. Lin already knows what he is touching, and this triggers his nosebleed. Su-Ching turns around to see Lin bleeding from his nose and immediately figures out that something is wrong. When she finally realizes that she is bare, she gives Lin an uppercut while calling him a shameless fool. Su-Ching dresses up again and stares down at Lin with an overwhelming stare. She threatens to kill Lin if he ever tells anyone about what he saw. She grabs his shirt while screaming at him to let him know how serious the situation is. Lin cannot believe that Su-Ching is actually embarrassed, and for his own sanity, he assures Su-Ching that he didn't see anything. Su-Ching leaves Lin, but from her cold stare, Lin can actually see that the girl is dead serious. Su-Ching then suggests that they go check on Li Shui. Lin, on the other hand, is still busy pledging allegiance, assuring Su-Ching that he will take the bright image that he saw to his grave. They rush back to where Li Shui is to see that she is still sleeping. Lin cannot believe that Li Shui had the audacity to sleep through the entire thing that they just went through. Lin finally gets to wake her, and when she opens her eyes, she starts begging not to be eaten. Lin cannot believe how dumb she is because she would definitely not be alive if a monster wanted to make a meal out of her. Su-Ching assures Li Shui that she has nothing to worry about since all the monsters have been taken care of. Li Shui finally calms down when she hears this, and she jumps to hug Lin. Li Shui is glad that her friends are alive, and Lin attributes their luck to the fact that Su-Ching arrived at the right time to help him. Li Shui then suggests that they discuss what they want to do. Lin points out that the dungeon seems to have gotten more difficult, and Su-Ching agrees with him, saying the number of monsters has increased. In addition to this, they have gotten more powerful than before too. Li Shui then asks them what their plan is, and Lin suggests that they leave the dungeon in the meantime. The girls agree with him since there is no point in risking their lives. Since everyone is in agreement, Lin tries to exit the dungeon, but he suddenly gets hit with a restriction. This is when they realize that the dungeon's difficulty has gone up from beginner level to nightmare difficulty level. A cold chill ran down Li Shui's body as she realized that they might be done for. However, Su-Ching is as cool as ever. She tells Li Shui that there is no need for her to be scared since the dungeon only increased its difficulty, not its level. She is pretty sure that they can still clear it, and Lin agrees with her. Li Shui is still worried as she mentions that they are going to have a hard time dealing with the dungeon boss when the low-level monsters are already stressing them out. Su-Ching then suggests that they get to level 10 before they start panicking. Lin and Su-Ching are both on level 8, while Li Shui is on level 6. Momentarily, Su-Ching asks Li Shui to follow her. Li Shui is shocked that they are not sticking together, and Lin explains to her that going their separate ways means they won't have to share experience points. And by this, they are going to level up even faster. Li Shui finally understands the essence of splitting up, and she suggests that they meet back up once they have all leveled up. Li Shui follows Su-Ching while Lin is left to level up on his own. 1 hour later, Lin has defeated many monsters and has jumped to level 10, even though he is already exhausted. Apparently, the beginner level dungeon doesn't allow the players to go past level 10. However, Lin figures out that he can increase the level of his summons without restrictions. The only downside to it is that he needs to offer up some of his health points to actually level up his summon. He checks out the slime's stats and realizes that the attribute increase is very slow, and he starts to wonder if this is because of his class. Lin checks out his own stats too, and he has gained an increase in his overall stats. His health points are now over 2,000 points, but his attack power is still below 100. Lin figures out that life would have been much easier if he could speed up the hatching of the unicorn. He brings out the Summoner book to see if there is a way to go about it. Surprisingly, there is a way to tweak it and make the hatching faster. He's about to try out the method when he hears a loud bang in the distance, signaling that the dungeon boss has awakened. Li Shui and Su-Ching find themselves in the area where the boss awakened. It emerges from beneath the snow, and this causes Li Shui to lose her balance. She crashes to the ground and almost gets crushed by the boss's spiked baton, but Su-Ching whisks her out of harm's way. However, they are unable to move far away from the boss's big weapon. Su-Ching activates her beast form to brace for impact against the incoming weapon. She and Li Shui are thrown into the distance, but Lin arrives just in time to catch them with the slime. He runs over to check on them, and Su-Ching reveals that she can't feel her left hand. The boss finally steps out from under the snow, looking overwhelmingly terrifying. Lin can easily see that the boss is very strong, and it even looks human. It is a terrifying monster that has 30,000 health points at its disposal. Su-Ching then urges Lin to run away because there is no way he can defeat the boss. However, Lin stands up to face the boss, telling Su-Ching that there is no escape route for them. Lin is relying on the fact that they are still in a beginner-level dungeon, even if it has been upgraded to a nightmare difficulty level. Lin knows that the core on the zombie's chest is the way to kill it, and once they are able to shatter it, they have nothing to be scared of. The zombie boss points at Lin and his teammates so that his zombie soldiers can attack them. Lin quickly tells the slime to activate the demonic dance skill. The slime takes out the low-level zombies and wolves before going after the big boss. Lin activates the fully armored skill to make sure that the slime is protected. The slime then splits into two to try to corner the zombie boss. The slime tries to take out the zombie's ankles, but to Lin's ultimate surprise, the slime gets smashed into the ground. Before the zombie boss can get another hit on it, Lin screams at the slime to return to him. Lin is worried as he realizes that the slime is no match for the zombie boss. As if things are not bad enough already, the zombie boss summons new undead to fight for him. Realizing that his only weapon has no effect on the zombie boss, Lin decides to try out the acceleration spell that he had earlier seen in the book. Lin is forced to remain stationary while he recites the chant. The wolves see this as the best time to make a meal of him. They lunge toward him, and just as they are about to tear him up, Su Qing comes to his rescue, cutting down the zombies. This took a huge toll on Su Qing, who was already weak. She coughs up blood as she crashes to the ground. Since there is nothing else to stop it, the zombie boss raises his arms to finish off Lin and Su Qing. Lin has already given up because there is no way to stop the attack. Suddenly, a defensive aura appears above him and Su Qing, shielding him from the zombie's attack. The defensive measure seems to have come from Li Shui, who urges Lin to do what he needs to do very fast because her defensive aura is weak and won't stay long. Lin continues his chants, hoping that he will get it done before they are wiped out. Momentarily, the zombie boss destroys the defensive aura, releasing a shockwave that throws Li Shui to the ground. The egg is already hatching, and the slime is not about to let the zombie ruin everything. The slime wraps itself around the zombie's wrist to prevent it from swinging its large arms. Thankfully, Lin is able to pull off the spell at the last minute. The egg hatches, leaving a bright light that almost blinds the zombie boss. The unicorn emerges from the egg, and this makes the zombie boss even angrier as it screams at the team. Su Qing recognizes what is going on with the zombie boss and figures out that it is about to enter the second stage of its power. She urges Lin to run away, but instead, Lin relies on the unicorn. The unicorn then gathers a bit of light energy in its horn. Just then, the zombie boss is suddenly enveloped in ice, restricting its movement and leaving the core on its chest pretty vulnerable. The unicorn targets the core and fires off the energy that it has stored in its horn. This goes straight into the core and shatters it, ultimately defeating the zombie boss. Su Qing's face lights up in shock as she cannot believe that a zombie boss with 30,000 health points was taken down in just a strike. Even Lin is shocked at what the unicorn can do. Lin pats the unicorn, thanking it for defeating the zombie boss. The slime jumps behind Lin too, and Lin knows that she wants her own share of praise. Lin praises her, telling her that she tried her best because he would have died if she had not restricted the zombie's movement. Lin then walks up to the girls, asking them if they are fine. Su Qing talks about the fact that she is impressed that Lin was able to save her life yet again. She then reveals her surprise that a level 1 summoned beast was able to take down the zombie boss. Lin agrees with her, telling her that he never thought the unicorn's damage would be so high to have taken out the zombie boss. Su Qing then reveals that the zombie leader is a dark attribute monster and the unicorn is a light and frost beast. Because of this, it was able to deal such high damage to the zombie boss. The system then congratulates them for defeating the zombie boss and clearing the beginner-level dungeon with nightmare difficulty. Apparently, they are going to get double their normal rewards because it is nightmare difficulty. They are also going to get rewarded for clearing the dungeon in record time and for one-shotting the zombie boss. The team is informed that their rewards will be allocated respectively. Just then, Lin finds himself in a subconscious space where he is informed that he has been granted the equipment, the Purgatory Soul Casket. The attack value and defense value on the equipment are negative, even though it is a legendary equipment. Lin finally reads the description of the equipment, and he learns that after defeating an enemy, he can seal their soul, which he can later summon to fight on his behalf. Apparently, he can also attach the soul of the deceased to any of his summoned creatures. Lin still doesn't understand what this fully means, and suddenly the Purgatory Soul Casket grabs the soul of the zombie boss. Lin grins when he realizes that he can collect souls even after the battle has ended. Lin opens his eyes back to the normal world to see a wolf charging at him. The wolf pushes him to the ground, and when he realizes that the wolf is Su Qing, this shocks him. Su Qing laughs at him, asking him if he was scared. Lin admits that he was scared because he thought they were being attacked by another monster. He then asks Su Qing how she turned into a wolf when she was a spirit cat. Su Qing grins at Lin, telling him that he is not the only one who was rewarded with hidden equipment. Su Qing then shows Lin her necklace called the Phoenix Feather. It is an epic equipment, but it is specially made for the Druid people. It provides double attack and speed for Su Qing. Lin cannot believe his eyes when he sees this and concludes that Su Qing's reward is better than his own. The equipment also gives Su Qing the ability to use the power of the Frost Wolf. She also has 2 other effects that allow her to turn into a brown bear and a phoenix, respectively. Lin is more interested in the Phoenix Warrior, but Su Qing says she has no idea what it is about. However, she has no plans to use it carelessly, since there are side effects to it. In addition, she can't use it at the moment since the battle is already over. The two finally turned around to see a purple magic hat sitting on Li Shui's head. In addition to this, there is a mini fairy-like creature following the hat. Suqing and Lin are both confused when they see this, but Li Shui just excitedly tells the two that she now has the power to protect them. Li Shui reveals that the hat is the new equipment that was dropped for her, and it appears to be pretty strong. The equipment is called the Cyclone's Magic Hat, which is a radiant-grade equipment. Apparently, it's a set that includes a magic hat, which Li Shui already owns, a robe, and a necklace. Lin is surprised because he has never heard of the Cyclone. Suqing also says she hasn't heard of it, but plans to ask the teacher once they return to the school. For the hat's passive effect, it summons a guardian spirit that triples all of her magic. However, the other two effects are still locked. Lin looks at the fairy-like creature and figures out that it is the Cyclone. Lin is blown away by the passive effect of the Cyclone as it appears to be insanely strong. Seeing this again, Lin concludes that the box he was given is trash. Lin then pats the unicorn, thanking it for saving them just at the right time. Li Shui then sits down to pet the unicorn while she refuses to let Suqing touch the soft body of the unicorn. Before they start arguing and fighting over the unicorn, Lin suggests that it is time for them to return to the entrance so that they can figure out why the dungeon's difficulty suddenly spiked. Lin finally gets to disengage from the dungeon and they return to the entrance. The warriors at the entrance are all blown away by the presence of the beautiful lady in front of them. Lin is confused about whom they are talking about until he turns around to see a gorgeous, stunning lady with long blue hair. Even Lin loses control of his brain and gets a nosebleed. The beautiful lady turns out to be the unicorn's human form. Meanwhile, the teacher gets the news that someone has emerged from the dungeon. The teacher initially assumes that there are more casualties, but the messenger mentions that it is the opposite. The teacher is shocked to hear this, and just then, the notification comes in congratulating Lin and his teammates for clearing the dungeon. The unicorn tries to get closer to Lin, but Lin says no. However, the unicorn doesn't take no for an answer as she moves over to her master. Li Shui then calls Suqing's attention to what is happening. Being the fun police that she is, she beats Lin up again and calls him a shameless person. After she is done beating him, Li Shui helps cast a healing spell on him. Lin thanks Li Shui for being nice, while Suqing is a straight-up cruel person. Suddenly, they feel a sinister presence walking towards them. The person turns out to be the principal of the school, Feng Yun. Lin wonders why the principal is there, while Suqing lets him know that his intentions are not pure. While Lin and Suqing are still trying to assess the situation, innocent Li Shui is already calling for the principal. Just then, strange figures appear behind them and whisk them into the nearby woods before the principal can get to them. This turns out to be Lin's teacher, and he shushes the three, telling them to be quiet before they are discovered. Suqing gets defensive, but Lin urges her to calm down, telling her that the dude is his teacher. Lin then asks the teacher why he suddenly grabbed them away from everybody. The teacher reveals that a lot of people died in the dungeon, and every finger is already pointing to Lin. Lin is shocked when he hears this, and the teacher asks him if he made a contract with the unicorn while inside the dungeon, and Lin says yes, but he is surprised as to how the teacher knows that. The teacher takes a deep breath when he confirms this, and deep down, he thinks about old man Fang, and concludes that the old man has really done a number on him. Suddenly, the teacher grabs Lin, telling him that he is done for. They are still thinking of what to do when the principal and his entourage show up behind them. The principal orders that his men seize the kids, but the teacher demands an explanation as to why the kids are being arrested when they are clearly students of the school. Apparently, the teacher and the principal know each other as they are senior and junior disciples. The principal then mentions that he is expelling Lin and his classmates from the school. This shocks the trio, but the principal says it again, just in case they didn't believe him the first time. Suqing angrily asks the principal why he is expelling them, but he gives no certain reason other than the fact that he is the principal. Lin is disappointed that the principal is expelling them without even conducting an investigation. The teacher supports Lin's argument, telling the principal that he just cannot arrest people without reason. He then adds that Lin is an S-rank talent, which is something they don't get every day. He asks the principal if he is really willing to lose Lin, but the principal tells the teacher that he can't understand why he has to take Lin and his friends away. Just then, a strange presence arrives on the scene, and when they turn around, it appears to be a small lady accompanied by a butler and a warrior. The lady walks toward Lin, talking about how impressed she is that he is the summoner who cleared the dungeon. Lin has no idea who the small lady is, and he subtly asks her by calling her a little sister. But this pisses her off. She screams out, revealing that she is Anjing Yao, the daughter of the Dupont royal family. Apparently, the little lady is a princess. Lin takes a minute to think about it and replies that he has no idea who the Dupont royal family is. The principal then tells the princess that he already has the suspects in custody and would like to take them away, but Anne says there is no need for this. The butler, Lucy, reveals that she has a Gift Abyss teleportation scroll with her because they are planning on taking the kids into the Black Abyss. The teacher is shocked when he hears this. Apparently, he already knows about the century-hidden dungeon, the Rift Valley Abyss, which is supposed to appear in the coming days, but he never expected that the royal family would already have the scroll with them. The teacher then mentions that the dungeon is recommended for levels 20 to 50, and since Lin and his teammates are not yet there, they are definitely going to die if they venture into the dungeon. Anne ignores the teacher and turns to Lin and his friends, ordering them to join her expedition team into the dungeon. Just as expected, Lin refuses the offer, saying he is not interested. The principal then adds that Lin and his friends are students in his school and he has an obligation to bring them back. The princess screams at the principal for interrupting her, and Lucy reminds the principal that he just expelled the students. The principal tries to argue this, saying that before the expulsion process is complete, the kids are still his students. With a terrifying aura, Lucy asks the principal if he is willing to defy a royal order. The principal can sense the hostility coming from the lady, and this causes him to start sweating in fear. And then reminds Lin that he is going to have a lot of people watching him because he just cleared a dungeon that is classified as nightmare difficulty. Lin can already see the principal and his team waiting to whisk him away. Just then, Su-Ching reveals that she would like to join the princess. Lin is shocked to hear this, and Su-Ching explains the situation to him. She lets him know that staying back basically means they will be captured, but she is ready to take a gamble by joining the royal expedition. The princess then turns to Lin, asking him what he plans to do. The teacher tries telling Lin not to go because he might just die in the dungeon. Lin finally gives his answer, revealing that he is ready to go. Once Lin joins the team, Li Shui has no choice but to join too. The princess laughs as she comes out on top of the battle. Lucy then turns to the principal, urging him to back off and let the students go. The principal then orders his men to stand down, but the teacher screams at him not to let the kids go. The principal reminds the teacher that he just stopped him from taking them some moments ago, and now he wants him to take them back from the princess. He basically tells the teacher to make up his mind, and he lets him know that the kids are now left to take care of themselves. The warrior accompanying the princess then introduces himself as Captain Zuo Sheng. Since the team is complete, the princess says it is time for them to head back. A portal appears to take them away from the woods, and the next thing, they arrive at the royal palace. Lin is blown away by the beauty and aesthetics of the palace. Li Shui then tells Su-Ching that she is feeling a bit uneasy. Su-Ching is still trying to figure out what she means when Sheng and Lucy draw their weapons on them. This shocks the girls, and the princess laughs, but Lin is not a fool, as he was already prepared for anything. The slime grabs Lucy and Sheng, disarming them before they even realize it. Lin then turns to the princess, asking her what she is trying to accomplish. The princess stares at Lin intently like a villain, saying she is impressed that he saw through her. Lin reveals that while they were on the way to the palace, Sheng seemed relaxed, but his hand never left the sheath of his sword. Lin says the same thing goes for Lucy too. The princess is impressed that Lin's observation skills are pretty sharp, but she asks Lin why he called back his slime, even though it was already gaining the upper hand. Lin then reveals that he knows he is in the princess's territory, and a fight would definitely have left bodies with no apparent winners. Lin can clearly see that the maids are ready to spring into action and fight to defend their master. In addition to this, he knows that the princess and her team are far stronger than they are, but he only wanted to show the princess that he and his friends are not lambs for slaughter. Lucy then mentions that the princess only wanted to see if Lin was worthy or not. The princess then reveals that a meal has been prepared for them before they leave for the dungeon. As they walk through the royal lobby, Su-Ching tells Lin that they should team up and beat Anne and her team because they don't look like people that they can trust. This is when Lin tells Su-Ching that he might have made a move earlier, but it was all just for show. He assures Su-Ching that they would have died if they really wanted them dead. Su-Ching is shocked to hear this, and Lin urges her to just follow their lead. Lin then asks about the murals on the wall. Sheng mentions that it is the history of the Dupont royal family. The princess reveals that the Dupont royal family was founded 1,000 years ago, and the founder's profession was a summoner. She continues by saying that during the Black Abyss anomaly, the Dupont family allied with the 3 other great royal families to seal it, but they were all defeated in battle. The founder's soul was shattered into pieces, and because of this, the connection between the summoners and the spirit stones was severed. Apparently, this is where the stereotype that the summoner is a useless class emerged from. The princess smiles as she tells Lin that he is the first S-rank summoner in 1,000 years. They finally make it to the dining room, and the girls grab Lin, telling him that he is the one the royal family wants. Li Shui is scared that they might want to sacrifice Lin to their ancestors, but Lin tells them to stop being paranoid. The team is blown away by the luxury that comes with everything associated with the royal family. The princess mentions that the Black Abyss Rift, which is a hidden dungeon, appears every 100 years, and it holds clues to the final battle. The princess is convinced that Lin is the key that will lead them to the clues that they are searching for. Lucy admits that the dungeon level might be high, but she assures Lin and his team that they will also be present with them. In addition to this, all the loot gathered in the dungeon will be for him. Sheng then teases Lin and his team, saying that they are not weak since they possess high-grade equipment.
Lin immediately becomes curious and he asks Sheng how he knows that they have high-grade equipment. The princess then reveals that the hat Li Shui is wearing is one of the saint's relic from the Saifeng royal family. It is also the most powerful magic hat in the Cyclone's Omen set. Li Shui is shocked to hear that her hat is a saint's relic. The princess then tells the group that they are going to discuss more about the details on their way to the dungeon. Since they have finished their meal, she says it is time for them to go. Just then, the dining table vanishes, and a magic circle appears where the dining table is. Lucy steps into the middle of the circle to begin the magic circle activation. She unleashes a massive blast of energy from her body that tears off her clothes. She also engages the scroll with her purple aura as the entire room is filled with a bright, blinding light.
Well guys, that's the end of the video. If you like this video, comment next part in the comment section. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and like the video. Thank you for watching and see you next time again.